Alright, so living in America, everyone. I'm back again with responding to this video. I'm going back into tearing all of his terrible arguments apart because there's so much of it. Again, there's so much of it. For a minute there, I thought I was doing half of it, but no, I have only gone into like 9 minutes of this video. There's still much more I can tear this video apart to, but still, we're getting there. Anyways, it's been a long day. I had to do some stuff outside of YouTube, which I'm not gonna talk about right now because everything seems to be pretty well for the most part. And of course, I'm also going to be doing these discussions on Discord if you want to join me and seeing how I'm going to tear down these videos, then you're welcome to. I gotta be sure some people know. And okay, let's pronounce the word here. Okay. All right. I'm wasting too much time here, and there's so much I have to still say about this video. So let's go down with tearing this apart, shall we? Okay, like what? Is he just making points against himself now? This is something we've been saying to trans people for pushing ridiculous ideas into the government. I mean, look, we'll accept actual trans people for when they're being respectful and responsible about stuff like this. But it's ignoring the mindset of reality that is the major problem here. As in people who say that new pronouns have the way to make new genders, which they cannot. I'm sorry, but they can't. As in people who say that new pronouns have the way. No, I've already said this. As in people saying that parents are not the voice in the matter of what a children's gender is, even though the parents' job is to guide the kids into the real world and keep them from something that will harm their kids, like criminal acts and stuff. As in saying that they can be, there could be, as in saying there can be family-friendly porn when all it's about is expressing sexual parts, well, at least exposing the sexual parts, which is why it's not for kids, as in why it's called porn. That's kind of the main point that Matt was getting to. I mean, even if we get to the argument that kids are told when they are young, they are not going to remember when they are like 0 or 3 years old. You know, the type of age when their minds have not yet gained the ability to remember their old toys. I mean, what's the point of telling kids something that they're not even going to remember? Then they automatically point a gun. then they automatically point to a guy and say, "That's a woman." That's stuff like that is basically why parents need to be involved.
Getting the pattern? So, I'm sorry, this whole bit is an enormous miss.
Hmm. That would probably be something I would say to you, Dave, after everything I've seen so far, honestly. But going on.
But let's keep listening. The unfortunate linguistic coincidence is that the use terms like man and woman or male and female in describing vulva-based phenomena. That is where the confusion arises when people insist that one term must encapsulate all phenomena at once.
Even though there's not really that much of a difference between sex and gender. I'm sorry to say this, but there isn't. There isn't an actual difference between those two. I mean, they, I mean the different. I mean the only difference is kind of in the meaning when gender is based on what the words that's used to describe the sex, but that's still talking about the sex. So, so in a way, that's those two are not really that different when comparing to.
So when someone asks what is a woman, expecting to get a very simple answer that children can understand, they are sorely mistaken.
Um, Stuff like that is the reason why this generation is failing. You're going on about like we're expecting us to solve. You're expecting us to have them answer our simple question that a child can answer. Um, I mean, how would they not? That I mean, even children would at least have somewhat of an idea of what an adult woman is. I mean, adults not going to, no, a kid's not going to understand gender at all, but the point still stands.
The answer requires a discussion of genetics and neural chemistry.
Well, I'm sorry to find it offensive, but yes, I do deny the concept of gender as distinct by biology. You accept that concept as gospel, and you're offended that anybody disagrees with it.
Again with this guy. I don't know him or care. The concept of gender.
Okay, I have to stop right here because apparently, apparently, apparently this guy doesn't understand John Money at all. Even though for some reason, John Money is the whole reason behind the gender ideology. He's, I mean, he created gender theory, and the left kind of used that stuff to expand it upon it. I mean, of course, yeah. I'm gonna look him up one more time. And it's already pulling up. Right here. Professor Dave. Oh, like, I only showed this so more people will have more info on the topic. He is the man who started gender theory. Well, this is one thing that I will go against Matt for since he's assuming someone would go get the political ideas from men when that isn't true. However, being someone from the liberal side that would think Dave would side with Mr. Money, I would completely understand that mindset because I've had doubts about Professor Dave since he started lying. While you don't care, some people that watch your content might. So you need to spread the information anyways, even if you don't care. I personally didn't care myself, but I decided to search this up anyways, even if because people need to see it. They need to know the history. You know what? I guess I'll pull up at least one little article about John Money. Excuse me. He was a New Zealand American sexologist, and a professor at John Hopkins University, known as research of the human sexual behavior and gender. Believing that gender identity was malleable with the first 2 years of life, Money advocated for the surgical normalization of the genitalia of intersex infants. Of course, and of course, I read from another type of article that he also went to experiments on kids about this stuff. So, yeah, this makes John Money not a good person. Yeah, with the word infants and the talk about sexual surgery, makes Mr. Money look like makes Mr. Money look a little suspicious, especially when again there's people saying that parents have no say in what the child's gender is, which I'm totally against, and I've already went against that claim. So continuing on.
Does not depend on what one guy said. You're like creationists who try to debunk evolution by defaming
Okay, scooching back a bit here.
the concept of gender does not depend on what one guy said.
Okay, so if that was the case, then does the concept of manual not depend on what a person says? Does the concept of bird depend on what one person says? I mean, I can go on, but my discussion about Professor Dave is already going long enough. And honestly, I would agree with you here since I don't believe in gender theory. However, with the way you represented yourself in this video, it makes me side against you.
You're like creationists who try to debunk evolution by defaming Darwin.
Okay, I'm starting to not like where this is going.
As though modern evolutionary biology is just people reciting origin of species from memory.
That is a huge defamatory statement there, Dave, because evolution theory is proven to be more plausible than gender theory. Why would you connect scientific true statements with false ones to prove your point, Dave? It just discredits your argument entirely. You're comparing oranges to apples here. The difference is that with evolution, you can at least find evidence by looking at different creatures on Earth, and make comparisons when they look similar, like of course a man and a monkey. With gender theory, however, it's a study depicting ideas claiming pronouns to be the same as biologic genders, aka fake sex. You're out here saying that debunking biology is the same as debunking unproven statements. Like,
Either address what I'm saying without tethering it to some disingenuous talking point, or admit that you can't and have to poison the well instead.
I hate everything about this video. I already told you to look yourself in the mirror. I don't want to repeat myself too much. I don't want to be a broken record. Just continue on. God, why was this video even made?
Meanwhile, you say that the definition of the word woman is complicated, but please note that it's complicated. It is not a definition. You still haven't defined it.
Okay, yeah.
No, I did. I defined
You're not even directing me to any clips in your video where you described it that way. I even watched your original video. I didn't see it at that point in time. You can't just say I defined it without showing your sources. And basically, what you said is that brain. What you said, concept of gender, is that the brain gains the ability to understand gender over time, which is described through thoughts and feelings. Later on, you said that the distinguished confusion over the gender and sex and the term woman needs an answer of study. That's not defining the term woman here, Dave. And you didn't even provide the sex chromosomes like you claimed you did here. Using the biology of the brain and thoughts does not define the gender here, because thoughts and feelings do tend to have some ignorance of reality. You have already debated against flat earthers before, so you should know what ignorant thoughts are like. But for some reason, you're using the thoughts of gender. But for some reason, you intend to use. But for some reason, you insist of using thoughts to define gender. You're literally tearing me apart. Again, you're comparing oranges to apples, but without giving us scientific data of the two. You're literally falling for the trap of the woke mindset, despite being against it.
Anyone who identifies with a gender identity of female. This is associated specifically with brain development.
No, 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 no. You don't get to use the brain development again after you failed the attempt of using that to exemplify trans people. This is a problem with some of you trans out there. You want to take womanhood and wear it like a costume. Brain development does not equate to your identity because thoughts and feelings are not the same as who you really are.
You and all your willfully ignorant followers can pretend that there is no scientific basis for this, or you could just type some things into Google Scholar and check the literature for yourself.
You mean like you refuse to do so with Mr. Money or the history of gender theory? You know, for someone who claims to be a professor, you have some things that you're not looking into despite some helpful information of history or science being in there. Here's the thing. Penis and vagina are scientific words for male and female body parts. So there's a scientific basis for gender already. There's just people like you who would want to create new words that have no merits of reality. Can you tell me what sexual body parts the new genders refer to without using the biology of the thoughts and feelings? I'll wait till the answer. No, they, them, theirs doesn't count. But they're actual men with uteruses. No. A uterus can't make you have female traits. You have to have ovaries and an actual womb to be able to give birth. That's just a bit of a statement there.
Here's one: Neurobiology of Gender Identity and Sexual Orientation. Let's browse through some other titles, shall we?
Wait a minute. So you're just going to mention the articles and not bring up the scientific explanation inside the article? Then what's the point of bringing this all up in the first place? Look, I know you said we could just look it up ourselves, but if you refuse to point out some main parts of the article to tell us that these can be trusted for clear information, then it doesn't do you any service of a teacher. Okay, cool. There's scientific data on gender, but what's inside the data? What can we learn from it? What can you provide from those articles and tell us if we can trust the research in them? You know what? Since Professor Dave won't go through these articles, I'm not going to bother Google searching them, because Because believing that your same gender doesn't make because believing that you're the same gender doesn't make you that gender. A true de- your true gender identity boils down on you yourself. Your true gender ideology boils your true gender identity boils down to your sex, and is even shown down to the bones. So even if you try to go through the surgery to make yourself the opposite sex, your bones will still tell you that you're a man or a woman. For example, a man will have a larger rib cages for better workouts, and a woman will have a larger pelvis bone for the process of giving birth. It's basic science that's not hard to look up. Now, I'm not saying that no adult is not allowed to make life altering decisions for themselves, but they should at least have some self awareness to keep a level head on what's right for them. If they want to be trans, cool. If not, also cool. Okay, yeah. I almost knocked down my lamp there.
Sexual differentiation of the human brain. Relation to gender identity.
Yeah.
This one
Nope.
talks about the hypothalamic uncinate nucleus. You know about that, right, Matt? Oh, and this one is about the human infundibular nucleus. Brain feminization. I wonder what that means. And the papers just keep coming.
Yep. Why does all that even matter if you're not even going to break down what these articles are about? That and also the hypothetical nucleus, like, oh no, what horror! The nucleus, the most important part of study for the sex and gender ever. Yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that. And also, brain feminization? Oh, sure. As if your brain can automatically just tell you if you're actually female without thinking of the biases of reality. I already schooled you for the ignorant mindset. I don't want to repeat myself. No. Now, I'm not trying to make fun of people who have the symptom of not feeling comfortable in the body, to make that clear. I'm only refusing the people who think that the biological males can just give birth to children and breastfeed like women. Yes, there are actual people that think stuff like that.
If you disagree with the findings of these papers, I look forward to reading your peer-reviewed rebuttal overturning an entire subfield of neurobiology with your non-existent expertise.
Does anyone find it sus and ironic that Dave will pull up all these articles of the study of sex, but refuses to reference the important parts of these articles to make it clear if they are trustable or not? Yet goes out of his way to call us sus for not believing the science he points out. This is almost like those woke people saying that if you refuse to go trans and refusing to date trans people, then you're a transphobe. No. It's just that trans is not our sexual preference. That we have no reason to go trans and refuse to do so to make people feel more comfortable. Also, non-experience, also non-existent experience. Sorry to tell you this, but the ones that have those non-existent experience is those doctors that do the hormone replacement procedure, because they tend to say that it is reversible, but later on they say that they don't know the damage they can do, meaning they never did any tests to be sure if it's safe. Stuff that Matt Walsh has already pointed out already. So tell me if that makes those doctors more trustworthy for hormone replacement. Seems like a no to me.
Let's reiterate, because this really is the main lie for you.
That is a huge assessment coming from you. Like the guy that would lie about someone that doesn't find feminists funny by saying that they don't think women are funny. I'm just saying.
And everyone who mindlessly repeats, "What is a woman?" condescendingly on a video they didn't watch which defined it.
Oh, really? Like the video that Professor Dave, like, you mean the video that Matt Walsh went into after the interview with a different doctor? That, what was his name? Dr. Phillips was the name. Who? And did they define the term female? I saw no evidence of that at all. Like, as of pointing out the biology of the brain counts as proof that I can be a woman anytime I want. Let me tell you something, Dave. Whenever someone says they identify as a woman, that is not identifying the word woman. And the reason why is because they don't give 2 ounces of a shit what a woman is. They care more about the feelings than anything else, which is why the left has gone out of their way to change the definition of woman since the trans activists began. And to prove that, let's look up the definition of a female or woman. Okay. Stupid ads, get out of here. Okay. Woman definition. Oh wow. I guess Google just decided to change it back to the correct definition. As an adult human adult female human being. When it used to say they can identify for whatever they want. Like, yeah, of course, as it is stated, a woman is an adult female, the opposite sex of a male. But the left wants to change it because they keep going on about the lie of men apparently being able to give birth. I mean, if that was the case, then apparently my penis has the ability to make me pregnant now. Yet here you are waiting to use the study of here you are wanting to use the study of female brains to say that men can be women. But there's one problem with that. Just because the brain makes someone understand what a female is, that doesn't make someone actually female. They don't know men don't actually know the struggles of being a female. Men don't know the experience. Men don't know the life of having to go through the periods. I'm told over and over again that having periods can make a woman over emotional, but I have no experience of that since I'm not a female. Actually, men can have periods too, since there's stories I've heard about blood coming out of a penis. Just because blood comes out of the man's junk, that doesn't make him experience a period. It just means the man is either experiencing a health problem or something is wrong with the man's junk to begin with that is causing blood to leak out. Simple as that. The only thing that is more possible for me to experience the pain of giving birth, however, is passing a kidney stone, which is something that even women can't experience. So, that's throwing out the question. For his time transitioning into a woman, he has the belief that wearing women's clothes can... no, wait. I'm getting lost in my script here. For more proof that men don't know what it's like to be a female, look no further than Dylan Mulvaney. For his time transitioning into a woman, he has this belief that wearing women's clothes will make him a woman, and in the process he's only made the mockery of woman with what he shared in his TikTok videos. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of every other woman that has called out Dylan Mulvaney for his shitty actions. And let me look that up for you. Yeah, I know I've been spelling the name wrong, but yeah. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, yeah, there's a bunch of other women that's taken offense to Dylan Mulvaney's transition and spreading it around as girlhood. And it's not just people like Mad Walsh talking about it. The only reason why we throw out the question, what is a woman? Because if people like you because if people like you are so competent and so deluded into the poisoning of the agenda of the word woman can be tossed around like a costume, then you don't understand the basics of gender biology. It's one thing to have someone go with a gender dysphoria problem, but then they can have to change through a little talk with but they can still have a change through a little talk with the fact that there are things that are unfair in life and that it will not be worth the effect of a negative body life changing experience to the point of having your own plastic penis kill you if not treated carefully enough. Yeah.
Earlier, you admitted that you're cool with sex and gender being different things, and you are aware that we use the words man and woman in reference to different terms. And I gave you both definitions in my original video and just now. You just didn't like what you heard and are refusing to interface with it so you can placate all the people who were pestering you to respond to my video, even though you have nothing definitive to say.
Okay, even if he didn't like what you said, so what? The problem is you still never explained about what a woman is until this video, Dave. Where was the quote, adult human female, in your original video? You know, the standard definition of what a woman is, I already looked it up. It's one thing to say a certain thing and not show anything because everyone already knows about it. But it's another to say, I said this, and not show your original source. It's not that we don't like what you said. It's that we don't like the agenda that you're pushing onto your viewers here. You have again used the functions of a brain as an explanation of how gender works when the brain should be the opposite force of gender studies. You know what this is like saying? Since the brain can learn how the planet works, then people can have the conclusion that the earth is actually flat. Do you not understand how dumb that sounds? Or do I have to explain more? I mean, it's not like an ignorant mindset exists or anything. It's so goddamn funny when you say that Matt doesn't like what you said, when you have again pointing out Matt for not liking feminist comedians as to say that Matt has devoted his life to bigotry. By that logic, I guess Brett Cooper in the comment section doesn't exist then. She's probably not funny.
Nearly everybody
Really? That's the best thing you can. That's the best thing that you came to conclusion. Binary is a spectrum because of sexuality and gender. Dude, your sexual preference can't change your body in any way, shape, or form. It's your actions that change your body. You are again comparing oranges to apples here. Sexuality is not the determining factor of sex and gender. Sexuality is only based on what you feel on others and yourself, not who you are. Like what the binary and gender is based on. You are again twisting the meaning of words to fit your narrative, like what the left tends to do.
Do your dance of denial. Nobody cares.
Except for the parents that don't want their kids to go through a negative body changing experience as to being experimented on by those doctors. Except for the female sports teammates that call out the problem of the trans people going into the spaces to dominate unfairly for the golden trophy. Except for the multiple platforms on YouTube that have called out the shit that I already talked about here. Except for the people demonstrating that. Except for the people detransitioning, actually, that are fighting against the problems that the woke spread over the brainwash others into their beliefs. Like. Sorry, Dave, but whose dance of denial is it that nobody cares about again?
As for the claim that 10% of people are gay, where did you come up with that? Where did you get that from? Well, I'll tell you where it comes from. You got that from Alfred Kinsey, who made that claim in his book, Sexual Behavior of the Human Male, which was the same book that made the giant documentary videos of the infants. He arrives at an argument set of figures regarding sexuality by interviewing sex offenders and prison inmates and lying, pretending that he surveyed a cross-section of the population when he didn't. So that's where you're getting your information from.
Right here, Matt just gave us some legitimate sources. While he doesn't cite the sources, he explains what is in the sources that he has seen, unlike what you did with your scientific study of gender. Probably gonna have to do a little bit better, sir.
No, but sure. Whine about Kinsey. Lie about where statistics come from.
You, you mean like how you've lied through this video so far? So, what lie did Matt spread with what he said here? Can you give me an explanation for that, Dave? You're the one who said that. You're the one saying that he is lying about information. If you're willing to prove that, then look at the information to prove that he is lying. I'm not the one trying to prove him right here. You have to be the one to prove him wrong.
Pretend that only one person has ever decided to ask this question or gather data about it. Anyone who says things that you don't like got their information from a pedophile, right?
Um, Dude, Matt Walsh said that Matt Walsh said this. As for the claim that 10% of people are gay, where'd you come up with that? Where'd you get that from? Well, I'll tell you where he got that from. He got it from Alfred Kinsey, who made the claim in his book Sexual Behavior of the Human Male, which is the same book that contains the orgasms of infants. He arrives to the arguments about human sexuality by interviewing sexual offenders and prison inmates, and then lied by pretending that he surveyed a cross-section of the population. Then tell us. He is not saying only one. I mean, if it's not where you got the information from, then tell us. He's not saying that only one person asked the question or looked up the data. He's just giving us info of where it started. Also, it's funny how you're accusing us of saying what other people look up may come from pedophile, even though all the trans and the drag people that you're defending here are making stupid arguments of how something very inappropriate can be kid-friendly. Let's not forget about your claim that, oh, if you don't like feminist comedians, then you must think women are not funny. No, I'm not going to let that go. Sure.
liberals, you would gladly agree that gender is not a social construct because you want to claim that trans people are just mentally ill and transness is made up by society.
Okay, how is it not a mental illness? Gender dysphoria is said as a mental illness for a reason. No, not because people want to be the opposite sex. That's not the main problem. The problem is why gender dysphoria was a given effect. I mean, I can give one explanation as why it's caused, which is caused by someone's sexual assault said on their body parts. It can lead to an unhealthy feeling, even the thoughts of suicide, because of how badly they hate the fact that their own body was used as someone's pleasure. This is why parents need to be involved, because without them, the kids would either choose something that will destroy their future love relationships or could end up taking their own lives. So, again, how is it not a mental illness? Also, transness is made up by society? Which type of transness are we talking about here? Is it trans men or women? If so, then not necessarily, because again, the plastic surgery can make someone look different, despite giving people false organs. If it's about non binary people, then yes, it's made up. Because all non binary is just made up words for a certain gender that has no meaning of a sex that doesn't exist. But the left, like you, would throw out the defense of, oh, what about intersexual people? And here's something that I will say. Having mixed chromosomes doesn't change the fact that you're a male or female. No matter what you feel, no matter what you believe, there has only been male or female. Nothing can change that. I mean, let's look at the time when we didn't have technology and to look at the sexual chromosomes. If the people back then did, then do you think that would change their thoughts of how sex works? If so, then we'll need a proper explanation for that, because I don't see how that can be the case. I mean, even if someone said that Egyptians did have gods that were not male or female, they were just gods, as in not human beings. They're not good examples to talk about the human biology, because they're not human. Did we have textbooks in schools talking about how there was walking people with cat heads thousands of years ago? I don't think so. Here's something here's something that I have to mention. If now, if someone actually was born with both a penis and a vagina, here's something that doctors would do. They would look at these sexual organs that are less developed than the other, and take those parts out. That is something I believe that I have 100% of acceptance of doctors doing, because, well, in doing so, it's a one way to keep the child safe. Probably not the best, but it's better than nothing.
But then when I say it because I want to pick on them, all of a sudden you have to disagree and pull something out of your ass, like not liberal enough because you don't want to address the biological basis of transness because you can't. What unbelievable hypocrisy.
Enough! Every word, every thought that you know is wrong. Okay, where do we even begin with this? Okay, so one, how is it the Republic group's statement for not being liberal enough? This is literally what the left will say to the people they disagree on the same group. The same goes for those in the LGBTQ plus community. If you think that men in the majority work harder than women, so no woman is treated unfair payment, then you're not a true feminist. If you're only onto straight normal feelings of a relationship, as in no desire to go trans or want no romantic relationships for trans people, then you're a transphobe. If you ever say the N word just for asking the question involving the word, or quoting someone else who said it, then you're a racist. If a black people disagrees with me, then they're not truly black and don't speak for all black people. I mean, I could go on, but this video is long enough. The only reason I can go with the "you're not a true fan or a true part of the group" argument is if there is a reasonable statement for saying it. But these people don't have a reason. They just hate seeing people disagree with them. And they just keep on going on with the point that there's no reason to side with the left here. That's the reason why Matt Walsh brings up the quote, "not liberal enough." Because this is what the left does. To blatantly shift the point to claim that Matt is saying, to blatantly shift the point to claim that Matt is saying that you're not liberal enough, it's just so stupid. 2. If you're only making this statement just to pick on people and not doing any factual research, then you won't go anywhere winning an argument. It's one thing to make fun of people that don't understand the logical issue and just attack you just for the sake of attacking you. But it's another to go after someone that has all the research and telling that person, "you're wrong." Like what you just did with Matt and saying that he didn't find any feminist comedians funny and just twisting the situation to make him sound like a sexist man that thinks that no women can be funny. 3. We do address the biological basics of trans people. As I said before, with my one example, being enforced into a situation of feeling uncomfortable with your own body because some scummy pervs that just want to use their own pleasures is really fucked up. But cutting off healthy body parts just to make you comfortable will not fix the situation. In fact, it probably will only make it worse when you start figuring out reasons why you probably made the wrong choice at first. The pleasure of guilt will give these people the feeling even more that people that have a crush on may not want to be around them anymore, giving them thoughts of suicide. But that's not the only issue, since I know someone will be like since I know people will be bringing up the argument again about people with chromosomes. Even then, that'll only be a minor occurrence of happening. The same goes for those being born with uteruses. Being born with mixed chromosomes doesn't change the body people are born with. Matt's discussion about not just trans people being trans is about a certain group feeling entitled to feel like they deserve more support by telling people they should go trans, date trans people, go into trans bathrooms with no consequences, and forcing children to go through gender mutilation without parental consent because of their beliefs. It's one thing just to say, "Hey guys, I'm going trans." It's one thing to say, "Hey guys, I'm a trans woman who is now going through a procedure of becoming a woman," and is not going political about it. But it's another to force the beliefs down people's throats by telling them that they're transphobic if they refuse to do so. The same goes for forcing gay feelings down people's throats, or else you're homosexual. Or you could call, or should you call me by my professional pronouns, but if you disagree, then you're a transphobe. The fact that you are willing to ignore that just to say that Matt is supporting bigotry is mind-boggling to me. 4. You, Dave, are the one that said that society can't turn you trans no more than it can turn you gay. Gender is determined biologically. What else is Matt supposed to say and take from this other than the fact that you're going against some people on the liberal side that force their beliefs online by saying that they are not liberal enough? Okay, let's look at the definition of liberal. Willing to respect or accept people's behavior or opinions different from one's own. Open to new ideas. Okay, and where is that lie? So in other words, You were talking about people forcing their ideas on others, something that Matt Walsh has called out before. But you're slamming him for doing so by calling it bigoted ideology. Who's the one being hypocritical again here, Dave? Well, yes, there are times when we are not too liberal, but that's only for two reasons. One, we have to limit ourselves in case we don't get in trouble with the law, and two, they're not they are not acting liberal to us by saying that not following their beliefs, then we are the homophobic ones, we are the transphobic ones, we're the sexist ones, the racist ones, etc. It really feels like you're missing the big picture here, Dave.
And why did you stop here?
Maybe because there's nothing else to talk about?
Of course, you can't show anything beyond this point in my video because it's all things your viewers would agree with.
Oh, okay.
I specifically talk about how trans people can't change their sex. Can't show that, can you?
Dave, he did show that in his video. Did you forget about this quote already? Society can't turn you trans no more than he can turn you gay. He literally showed the quote from you that people will agree with. Even I agreed with it. The fuck is wrong with you? Also, another case of you saying stuff without showing a clip again. But still, that's not stuff that Matt Walsh is talking about. He's responding to your video, Dave. Bringing up a point that he and his viewers agrees with is pointless because that's stuff people already understand. That would be like me responding to your videos about debunking flat earthers. But that would make no sense. Because I don't believe the earth is flat. Did you forget that it's one of his canceling videos that you're discussing here? What is the point of talking about arguments we agree with when one of the videos are... What is the point of talking about the arguments we agree with when the videos are about arguments we disagree or have a problem with? With the way how you said it, it makes it seem like you want people to ignore the big issues than to have them side with you because of the topics we agree on. It's further making you look like someone who wants attention. Like, oh, come. You're willing to call out my problems, but you won't accept the good I've done? Someone's desperate for approval. Okay, I know that anyone will make a lie. Okay, I know that anyone who makes a YouTube video will make it for attention anyway. But the way how Professor Dave goes on here kind of seems like he takes it one step over the line for me. And before you say, oh no, I don't want people to side with me, I just want them to see the same perspectives we have. We do see the same perspective. Yes, no one should be allowed to force others into their beliefs, and people can't change sex no matter what they do. But that doesn't excuse how you made yourself look in your video, Dave. You don't get to bring up arguments we agree with to shift away from the problem of your video. That's not how it works, you moron. And before someone says, hey, aren't you being a little hypocritical with this video, with how you defend him? You make it kind of seem like you want attention from Matt Walsh himself. There's a few problems with this. If I really wanted Matt Walsh to watch my video, I would have rushed over the time with Dave's video over a year ago instead of taking the time to work on the script, edit it, and put all this together for at least this one stream that I'm doing right now. I would even post the video's thumbnail on Twitter for people to see it. But I don't have a Twitter account. I don't even have the app. Even if Matt does end up watching my video and commenting on it, I don't care if he ends up liking it or disliking. In fact, this is going to be my last video responding to Professor Dave. Even if he ends up responding to me, I'm not going to respond back. To keep my word, I won't even comment on the video that Professor Dave to let him have the last word. I might decide to watch it, but I'm not going to comment or even... I might dislike it as well if I still see some more problems, but I'm not going to do anything more than that. Doubt me all you want, but That's only going to be the way to show that I don't need attention from big guys. I don't even think hardening his comment will change anything either, if Matt Walsh does end up commenting on my video. Okay, so I have to stop here because he just keeps going on and on while making himself look more stupid. I don't think I can take anymore. Ah, man. This video was cringe. It was horrible. There were so many problems that stand out. For taking a topic out of context, to deframing the ad hominem, the straw man, by calling him a hyperbole, saying Matt Walsh thinks women aren't funny when saying feminist comedians aren't funny, to claiming things without showing evidence or quoting the proof, and downright comparing Matt Walsh to Nazis because Matt disagrees with him. I don't know how bad someone can be just for trying to bring... I don't know how bad someone can be when just trying to bring education. But this clearly takes the cake. I guess when people never bring up politics, they're trying to make a point. I guess when people say never bring politics into the conversation, they're trying to make a point. But anyways, yep. I'm done covering this video, and I have to say my final thoughts. So Dave, with the action you decided to take here in the video, I don't think you're able to speak about politics anymore. Listen to what people have to say, and do so without making exceptions out of others. I don't care about people going trans. As long as they're not spreading false information or forcing other people into the actions or doing anything illegal, adults are allowed to make their own decisions. For the people that are non-binary, I don't have to follow the beliefs to know what the true me is. And I don't have to name some of them the fake genders and they are calling themselves. I got one of those fake genders. Jackson, I'm kind of in the middle of something here. Anyways, I don't just follow the actions that they are starting to do with children since the movie Cuties came out. Before I end this video, I want to talk about some people on the right that I do not find to be good people. I'm only saying this just to show that I don't always side with people. Now, there's one man that I want to talk about whose name is Mr. Brooks. He owns a channel called The Brooks Bros, and no bullshit. Since he started making content, people are pointing out that his content is unoriginal. He even admitted in one of his videos that he's basically trying to take over Ray William Johnson's series as a new host of something. I don't remember what the whole thing was because I'll have to look at it again to see what he was doing. But even then, he didn't even show proof that he has permission to continue the show as the new host. He doesn't even admit to his own faults. When people comment on his behavior by blocking someone, then lying about that person on Twitter, he tries to brush it off as a joke. And to make it worse, he even made a fake apology about it. Now, there's more about him I can go over, but I'm running out of time, so I'll move on to someone else. So, now here's someone known as Jeremy from the Quartering. He's posted videos about exposing people on the left, and I'll give him points for the right stuff he calls out. But it's what he did to review Tech USA that I don't agree with. I'll have to say right here what he did. Jeremy was going into someone's personal life that no one should have issues with. And when he's called out for it, he tries to cancel a guy for something that he already apologized for. Even if you make an argument that there's something sketchy in the personal life that should be called out, what was the sketchy thing in Rich's life? Jeremy said that Rich was telling lies to women, but what were the lies exactly? You can't just make a claim and not show anything to follow it up, or you will be assuming things. I'm now. I might as well look at the Great Pumpkin next Halloween then, or Santa Claus next Christmas. Now, I'm not 100% on Rich's side either, because of what I heard that stuff that he said about Michael Jackson being a pedo, as well as something that he said about overweighted clothes in stores, ignoring that there are people that can't control their weight. But the point about Jeremy still stands here. And now those are all the people I'm going to talk about, so I'm going to continue on with my thoughts. My point is that I can't follow people that have these inhumane actions to other people just for their differences. The same goes for the people that take someone's art just to change the race of the character or characters and post the words, "Fix your shit. Remember that representation exists." You're not doing any good for representation if you're being disrespectful to people's art. And the birth of the character just makes him or her relatable to black people. I don't need characters to be my race to be relatable. Mario is an Italian plumber, but I can relate to his stance on the type of music he enjoys sometimes, pop and jazz. I have even moments when I pushed down some I have even moments when I was pushed down for some of my mistakes, and I still got back up. I'm even a little bit more relatable to Luigi when compared to my brother. I'm taller, I'm faster, I jump higher, and I'm good at dancing. If Mario and Luigi's race was automatically changed to Black or Asian, I would have a problem with it because it's doing some disrespect to people that create the innocent character and their image, especially if people use that to shout through the world, "Hey, representation can exist in this platform. Deal with it or get out, you racist." It's kind of like what Disney did to Ariel and the Little Mermaid. People are all over the news about, and are already using it to say, "Hey, black people are mermaids now. What are you going to do about it?" And there's people defending it by calling the people on Twitter who corrected the race with editing morally wrong and an awful person. It's such a disgusting habit that makes me want to ignore Disney movies and give them attention and money. Am I going to say the right? Am I going to say that everyone on the right have only moral, respecting, and responsible people? No. And will the left only be filled with toxic environments of people defending things that doesn't deserve the defense? No. Both sides will have a number of issues. I don't agree with Hey, I don't agree with Matt's take that video games are endangered kids, and I don't agree with his belief that aliens exist. Oh, okay, give me a minute. I don't want to be shown that. But I mostly side with right here because they call out stuff that is clearly inhumane. Like people defending actual criminals and wanting them out of jail. Now all I'm going to say is, Dave, what good do you think will come out about saying stuff that you said here? You're trying to paint a brush over Matt Walsh for your points, but all you did was just spill the paint all over yourself in the process. I'm all for calling out people so that they can be educated on trans people. But with the way how you're going on about this video, it's just so wrong. I would just want you to know that if I were to cover another video about someone, even if that person ends up being trans, I'd only want to focus on the actions that these people are allowing him or herself to go through without thinking on the consequences. That's all that matters to me. Just people's actions, not the feelings. Yes, there are times when hurting people's feelings is unnecessary, but actions have a bigger role in the real world. Especially those actions are against law most people on the left seem to ignore. Now, again, adults are allowed to have decisions they can make on their life. So I know that they can't. So I know that I can't go at someone for being trans all the time. But as long as the people's not insulting the sex that that the person is transitioning to, infiltrating women's spaces, or wanting kids, or wanting to do sexual stuff to kids, or using transes to get away with anything they want to show that they're masculinely crotched to women, which is kind of a sexual assault, by the way, then I have no issue with anyone being trans, as long as they don't do any of that stuff. If you're going to call me out on something, just make sure that it's something that what I said that's actually stupid. And not saying that ultimately cuts you so deep that you have to insult me because of our disagreements in politics. I may not wish, though Matt may not wish you the best, I do. Kind of. Now, I don't respect how you treated Matt Walsh through this video, but I wish you a happier life than this. And that's all I have to say about this video. If anyone here that's watching, thank you so much for watching. Even if it's sometime later on and after the streaming, I'll see you all next time.